I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 71 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
I'm okay, man. Exciting news this week. The prodigal sons returned. What's the word?
Project. I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
I can't.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Yeah, like you just kind of hinted at, we did something amazing, something exciting, something not that exciting if it were under different circumstances, but we finally managed to go back to the cinema. What?
Cue the applause, yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of nice, you know?
Yeah.
It was different because we went quite early and we were, I think, one of 6 people in
a huge cinema.
the whole IMAX cinema. Yeah, it was crazy, but cool.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the movie in a bit once we get to our picks, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But how was your week in terms of watching things? How many things do you have?
Abysmal.
Perfect.
Like I mentioned in the last episode, I am just covered with fucking stuff that I need to listen to and learn for upcoming exams, and I didn't manage to watch pretty much anything new. Maybe one thing that I squeezed in today, a little YouTube video.
Right.
But apart from that, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I tried to finish Underground Railroad for this week's episode, but I didn't get to. I'm still missing 2 episodes with an hour each, so
right.
No time. How about you?
Well, I pretty much the same thing. I haven't watched anything major before, or like other than the movie that we saw today.
Mm-hmm.
But I have watched one YouTube video that we might be able to discuss. But
you think it's the same one?
Maybe.
Yeah,
But maybe do you want to tell everyone how the show works, and then we'll dive straight. See what I did there with the dive? We'll dive straight in. We'll dive straight in.
It's going to be a great episode. Welcome to one of our regular episodes. Here we talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Anything from a show to a movie to even a YouTube video. And it's always something fairly new. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, well, usually we don't know what each other's picks are going to be. But since we watched one thing together and not much else, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's to come.
That basically confirms it to me, yeah. You could have picked your YouTube thing, I don't know.
Yeah, but I didn't hate what I saw today, so...
Oh, fine, yeah, good. Well, what was the YouTube thing?
I watched the new Hot Ones episode.
That's the same thing I watched, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had to watch that one. Yeah, I love...
Yeah.
I have a huge crush on Sean Evans.
He's a magnificent bald bastard.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was surprised to see Elizabeth Olsen there.
I thought it was kind of funny because he kept referring to her as Elizabeth Olsen.
Right, but that's what he does, right? That's sort of part of his interviewing technique.
Does he? I think I remember him calling people by their first name, doesn't he? I mean, I would imagine him being like when they meet, "Hey, my name's Sean. How are you? What do you prefer to be called?" I'm sure they do some pre-recording banter to kind of make sure everything is good.
Right, but I think he does. It didn't surprise me. I felt like I heard that before when he did it.
Yeah,
I think he does that all the time when he goes like, "Yeah, Charlize Theron, you made it to the end of the Hot Ones thing," and there's
maybe.
nothing
I mean,
left.
Charlize Theron just rolls off the tongue. It's a beautiful name. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen is also good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was also surprised to see her, and I thought she was kind of a cool guest. At first, she seemed a bit uptight, but towards the end, when she brought out some anecdotes of Ingrid Goes West and other things, I thought she was kind of a cool guest.
Yeah, I was surprised to see her there because obviously the show that she's promoting has finished already.
Mm-hmm.
But they obviously postponed it for COVID reasons. But even when at the end he tells her to like plug whatever she's got going, she didn't do anything. She just talked about how she's feeling in the moment. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't love the interview. She seemed a bit like, I don't know, he just asked her a question and she answered it like what's your favorite movie that no one has seen? And she goes like, yeah, it's this and that. And that's the end of the anecdote. You know, it felt like, I don't know.
Yeah,
could have talked about it a bit more, I guess.
Her talking about like her shooting experience is also doing that horror film that I already forgot about.
Silent House. Yeah.
Yeah, did you see that?
No.
Okay, but you did see Ingrid Goes West, right?
I did see that, yeah. I didn't like that movie at all.
Yeah, I think you compared it to the other movie that you saw with, what's his name? Andrew Garfield, right?
Yeah.
Or am I mixing something
no,
up?
you're absolutely right. I think, I don't know what I compared it. Do you mean do you mean mainstream?
Yeah. The one you said, film festival.
Yeah, I think I did compare it to that one. Yeah, you're way ahead of me there. But I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice interview, but...
It was nice to see them
better.
back in the same room, because I hadn't seen the previous ones where they're back in it.
Right, and now with two different tables.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like an obvious solution, right?
Sure, but I would assume everybody's tested anyway, so...
Yeah, sure.
Wouldn't make much sense.
No, but I like it. I think it doesn't take away from the show. I mean,
sure.
It doesn't really matter how close they're sitting together, but it does, like, I prefer to watch them when they're in the same room together.
Yeah, me too, because
Audio
the vibe
quality.
is always so different. Yeah, that as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's the only honorable that I have, and that's not even really an honorable, but it was, I love Elizabeth Olsen, and it was nice to see her on a show that I actually like, because Sean Evans, I mean, when it comes to interviewing people, I think he's great. Really, really good.
I'm not a huge fan anymore of his interviewing style. At times it just seems a bit fake. I mean, it's always difficult to do these kinds of things, and he tries to kind of match the energy of the guest.
Yeah.
But he does have some great questions. I'll give him that.
He does.
Definitely.
There's great compilations on YouTube of like him asking the great questions, and where like the guests are always like, "Oh, that's a great question."
It's now also with Aardvark, the human handkerchief. Is that his name?
I have no idea what you just said.
Aardvark, I think that's his name. Aardvark, something like that. This really weird-looking guy. I think he's Canadian. And that guy is fucking crazy. There's also so many compilations of interviews that he does with, I don't know, Billie Eilish, various rappers. And he just asks them questions and they're absolutely baffled, even more than on Hot Ones. And he just, yeah, you listened to this and this album. You said it really inspired you back when you were, I don't know, 16. And so here's a first printing of that album. They're like, what?
Right.
Fuck?
Right. I mean, that's a good, he's got a good research team, or maybe he just does it by himself. I don't know, but, takes effort to do that and come up with those good questions.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows what a good interview is, because I also recently listened to a podcast. I guess it's also something else that I watched, actually.
Yeah.
Because they had a video. Is the Gus and Eddie podcast, I think it's called, from Gus Johnson.
Who's that again?
Gus Johnson's a now pretty big YouTuber. He does a lot of skit comedy.
Okay.
Blonde, mustache, weird humor.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe him. Anyway, he did a podcast and they invited Andy, what's his name, from Conan?
Richter.
Andy Richter, thank you. And then they kind of asked him about press interviews, post when the movie is wrapped, and him talking about various fucking things that just go on your nerve when you do that, and just how many actors just absolutely fucking hate this part of the job. Of course, I mean,
yeah.
Who wouldn't? Just getting asked the same questions all over again and over again for, I don't know, 2 days straight or more.
No, for sure. I think there's an art in asking good questions, and I've been following like some American journalists that always like interview every single actor and director for every major release, and they put up the videos on the YouTube channel. And one of them especially always manages to get at least like one or two good questions, like where they actually like reply, "Oh, that's a good question. I have to think about that." And I try to channel those techniques when I interviewed the director that I talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of in the same business now.
I feel
part of
very
the industry.
adjacent. Yeah. No, but I did get out I did get one good question where he was actually like, "Oh, that's a very good question. I have to think about that." I was very proud of myself.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah. I was I had to stay cool in the moment, but I was buzzing.
You just stood up. Yeah,
I just left.
Take that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Also talking about YouTube things, I mean, that's not something you knew, but one of your favorite picks of yours, my favorite picks of yours, did I say it correctly? Anyway.
Don't know what you're going to say.
From the past is Taskmaster. I'm now watching season 9. It's still a fucking good show.
Yeah. Dude, that's the show that most people have told me they discovered through the podcast. that's cool. The show, yeah.
Because it's something that most people living outside the UK wouldn't know, and it's just so cool that they just post every single episode on YouTube.
For sure.
Especially if you know some of the contestants and you can kind of root for someone.
Yeah. It's a great show. I kind of stopped watching it as religiously as I once did, but it's still great. And I more tend to watch the compilations there as well of them like finding clever ways of cheating the tasks and whatever.
Right.
Yeah. It's great moments there. I need to catch up on that for sure. But let's talk about the one thing that we saw together about an hour ago. Maybe yeah. We decided to go back to the cinemas for this movie, and it's actually today is when the cinema that we went to opened, and we caught the first IMAX screening of it, and it's A Quiet Place Part 2, which is a kind of a masochistic movie to go back to in a pandemic, right? That's not really a movie that you want to.
Well, it's not about a sickness, No,
but it's kind of about the world going to shit. No.
Sure, but if somebody started coughing in the movie, I would have been paranoid.
Yeah, because we actually talked about this yesterday, right? As well, where you were like, you're hoping that it's not going to be like a lot of COVID movies once everything settles down.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you like to watch something else that's not COVID related? I mean, every fucking thing you see on the news is COVID this, COVID that. I
agree.
Not over it, because it's not really a mood. But yeah, it's just. I mean, movies are a great way to kind of escape and experience something new that you normally wouldn't. And I think a lot of people, of course, piggyback off of current events as they usually do.
Sure.
But it's just not something that I want to watch. I would just want to watch fucking sci-fi things and adventure movies and I don't know what.
No, I know what you're saying. And I was kind of joking there because obviously, I mean, they shot the second one even before the pandemic hit.
Right, yeah.
They just delayed it for 15 months now because they obviously wanted to be seen in theaters. But it's just, it's kind of like you try to escape the real world and then you're also like in a world where you're not really supposed to go outside and you're really supposed to stay quiet and, keep to yourself. So, but whatever. But yeah, it was just nice to be back in the cinema. I mean, that's the main thing. And to be back in one of my favorite screening rooms too, one of the biggest ones. It was just nice, man. And I have to say, we'll talk about the movie a little bit more in depth and maybe we'll go into spoilers as well. I don't know how we're going to do that, but the opening scene and just like with Bradley Cooper directing A Star is Born, I am really amazed by how well these movies are directed by John Krasinski. As a guy who hadn't directed many movies before, I mean, I think he did a movie like, what is it called? The Hollers or something like that. And then he did A Quiet Place 1 and 2.
Right.
I think it's amazing what this guy is able to do. And the opening scene I thought was the best part of A Quiet Place Part 2.
I thought it was also pretty cool to finally show the beginning. But maybe before we talk about A Quiet Place 2, what did you think of the first one? Were you a big fan?
Well, I don't even know, man. It's been so long. When did that movie come out? Like 2018?
17, 18. Yeah.
I remember really, really liking it. I mean, I have trepidations of watching horror movies because I don't like
light horror.
No, for sure, because they keep the jump scares to a somewhat of a minimum. I just don't like these movies that just go all a jump scare all the time, which are generally considered to be the bad ones, the bad horror movies. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking that it was actually really good, the first one. I mean, I just know that I got a kick out of the very last scene and I was sort of amped there. I remember, I think the first credit was like, it was like written and directed by John Krasinski, but then it was like produced by Michael Bay. That stayed with me for some reason. But it was kind of an epic ending. And I wanted to watch this movie today because I've heard so many people talk about that it's actually like better than the second one, and I'm just
The first one.
sorry, better than the first one, yeah.
Right.
And I'm just so I'm kind of in awe as how well John Krasinski directed now both of these movies. I think he's doing a great job.
Would you say you prefer the second one over the first one?
I mean, it's so fresh. I don't know, but I would. One of them doesn't stand out to me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're both pretty even. No, I'm saying like one. I don't think that one of them is much better than the other one.
Of course, yeah.
How about you?
I mean, first of all, to the ending for A Quiet Place Part 1, I was quite unsure of it. I thought it was quite of a weird break in genre for a moment.
Yeah.
But then I rewatched it, a year ago or so. And I actually kind of grew to like it, you know? It was kind of funny and kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
it's got a heart.
Yeah, right. And it's cool to finally see the second one. I don't know which one I prefer. I think the pacing is a bit better of the first one. Because with the second one, you were just tense the whole time through. With the first one, you had some light moments, you know, with the father kind of bonding with his son, etc. And now in this one, which kind of picks up pretty much exactly after the events of the first one, with the opening scene being a flashback to the very early, the first days of the invasion or whatever it is.
Which is just a great choice.
It's pretty cool, yeah, because you always wonder how do these things start. And I think it's so cool to show that, because there are so many zombie movies and horror movies that are like, I don't know how many days in already.
Yeah.
And I really like those movies where they show how shit started.
Sure. But I think that the second one also has these moments of levity.
I think, but just fewer. I mean, it's like the second half is just so fucking tense all the time.
How long was the first one? Because the second one was also a pretty short movie, which I like.
I think they're pretty much the same length, about a bit over 1.5 hours.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I don't know how long the first one was, but the second one was like an hour. What was it, 37 or something like that? And I love that.
Yeah.
It's just, the first one's actually an hour 30.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a bit longer, actually.
I love that. I love that they just, it's a crisp, clear story, and you don't really need to have, like with Cruella, an extra 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit much.
Yeah. But I think we should play a little clip of the trailer of A Quiet Place Part 2.
I actually just want to ask you that. Can we do that?
Sure. We can do whatever we want. No, we can. We can do that.
Such badasses.
Yeah. And
but we asked for permission.
No, we didn't. It's on the hub. It's on the
right.
the press hub thing. Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of tense breathing. It would be nice if it's just a trailer with like no sound whatsoever.
Yeah, right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's some whispering and some tense moments
right.
to convey to you now.
The cool, crisp voice of Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. The main reason why you wanted to watch this movie, I would assume.
Of course. Dude, yeah. I love this dude.
Good looking man. Good looking dude.
Haunting eyes. Haunting.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't say that about a lot of people, but Cillian Murphy and Alexandra Daddario have the most insane eyes.
Yeah, Daddario. Yeah, sure.
She does. She's got insane eyes. But I was just about to say something and I forgot what it was. I think we should just play a little clip of it.
Sure, yeah.
Let's do that.
I don't know why you came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
There are people out there. People worth saving.
Most people had finally given up hope.
All right.
I mean, I just noticed, did we even mention what the movie's about for anybody who hasn't even seen the first one?
No, and did we even mention that this was our pick? I think we kind of
we're all over the place. I mean, it's just so fresh.
Yeah. It's literally like that, yeah. But no, please, I mean, I don't know how necessary that is after we just played the trailer, but I don't think you would listen to us talk about this much longer if you hadn't seen the first one or aren't interested in the second one, right?
I would think so. But just in case, Quiet Place, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. People have to keep quiet as not to get killed by aliens or monsters. It's not really explained. Yeah, and it's about a family trying to survive through sign language and minimal sounds, especially now that they have a child.
Right.
Which is scary. Just in
Right.
itself, having a child is crazy.
Yeah, and giving birth while staying quiet is, or supposedly staying quiet, not an easy thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I love this. Sorry.
No, please.
I just love that the second one picks up right where we ended in the first one, with that little intersection or intercutting with that little flashback of the first, of like how it first started. It was also nice so that Krasinski is able to have some time on screen again, because spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we can do maybe like the first half, a bit of a spoiler-free section, then towards the end throw out some scenes that stuck with us.
Yeah, I would like to talk about the opening. I think the opening is brilliant, and that's not even necessarily a spoiler. I mean, you already talked about that. It's sort of it tells the story of how that whole thing happened, and I love the opening of like Krasinski grabbing some groceries, and it just, you felt like how every little movement was actually making noise, and you realized like even him just grabbing like an apple and putting it in like a little thing, that makes noise, and I thought it was just brilliantly done.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that much, but yeah, you're right. I mean, that's those little details, also just showing locations that you've seen before in the first one, just showing them before everything went down, which of course makes sense. That's how they know where they need to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's quite a genius move to actually do that.
Yeah,
I really think it's good.
I want to say overall I enjoyed this movie, but one thing that I just found a little bit too bad, because I would have liked a bit of a bigger reveal, is of Cillian Murphy's character, because they show him very much in the beginning and show that they already know his character before shit started. Right. And I would have just, which kind of made me think, okay, he's gonna know them, they're gonna they can talk, they can be kind of on the same wavelength. And my first thought was, when I just saw Cillian Murphy on that poster, because he looks really menacing, to be honest, I thought he might be like the guy who kind of takes advantage of them, or tries to rob them, or do something to one of the kids. I don't know, to be the antagonist of the story.
Sure. I mean, we talked about this on the way after the cinema, but it's right. It's kind of difficult to bring in another villain when it's already like about a monster apocalypse or whatever.
Right, but I thought,
I know you're saying,
maybe now that they kind of know a bit more about how to deal with those, I don't know, let's just call them aliens. I thought humans would be the next step. I think also with slight spoilers for the movie 28 Days Later. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, then I'll stop it.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway.
No, but I don't know. What is there anything like? Is there any big moment of the second one that actually stood out to you and that you like? Because I'm struggling to think of like one really great moment, and the more I think about it now, it's kind of a shame that it's, especially towards the end as well, it kind of did the same things as the first one.
Right, yeah.
Especially with the very ending, which I was hoping for something different, a little bit. Not knowing, I don't know a better way to do it, but it's just like it kind of felt like more of the same a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about the performances, which are great. I mean, it's the kids, the Emily Blunt, obviously, and now Cillian Murphy is great, and Noah Jupe, and the girl who is actually deaf. Right? That's not.
Yeah, I think so.
So. What's her name? Millicent or something?
It's the only actor's name in that movie that I don't remember.
What was the guy from Hamilton called?
Oh, okay. Two people. There are two people in this movie.
Yeah, there's a great little cameo from someone from Hamilton in that one. Millicent Simmons is her name.
Right. I mean, it must be just so hard, especially as a kid, to act at all, but to act without dialogue, because like you just mentioned, one of the characters is deaf, so they communicate through sign language. But one of the kids in Noah Jupe, I think there's this one scene where they talk in this tube or whatever in secret, and he's just so panicked because he's a bit of the scared one in the family, and just trying to convince his sister not to go, and being just so panicked, and just conveying it simply through sign language and his panicked face is wonderful performance.
Yeah. He's a good actor, man.
Yeah. In what else is he?
He was in The Undoing, which I talked about recently, the Hugh Grant, Nicole Kidman show.
Right, yeah.
He was in Suburbicon, wasn't he? As
right, the kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Of Matt Damon, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, that's right. Clooney's not even in that movie, right? He just directed it.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's just Damon and Oscar Isaac and
Julianne Moore.
Julie Moore, yeah.
Yeah. No, what else was he in? Because obviously Wonder and Ford versus Ferrari. My God, Honey Boy.
What?
All of these great things.
Who was he in Wonder? In Wonder, I just picture Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah, he's the one kid who's nice to him in school. The one he befriends. Yeah. But obviously, man, Ford versus Ferrari, one of my favorites of the
right. He's the
last
kid.
couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, who else would he
He's
be?
always the kid. He's Christian Bale in Ford versus Ferrari.
Great actor.
Yeah. No, he's got a great career ahead of him, I think. But yeah.
I don't know if that's a spoiler, but you mentioned at the end that they announced that there will be another Quiet Place coming. To be honest, I'm not that excited anymore. I feel like they've done it again. I think the film was good, but I'm not sure if I want to see the whole story with the same characters again, you know?
But were you excited for this one?
Yeah, because I heard it was supposed to be good, and I did like the first one.
Right, okay.
And, you know, just because of Cillian Murphy, he's done so many great things. I'm a huge fan of that guy.
Yeah. I mean, but I think once time passes, because it's set to release in 2023, I think we might be, you know, that's going to be different then. But obviously, Krasinski is not returning to direct the third one. That's Jeff Nichols. And I don't know. I assume the cast will stay the same, just a different director, but I don't know.
I just wonder if it's going to be set like 2 years in the future, because the kids are just getting bigger, and you already saw it with Noah Jupe. He's grown, you know, because of, I don't know, 1 or 2 years went by since the first one. So in a couple of years, he's going to be even older. His voice is going to change, and it's just going to look weird if it's, you know, the next day and suddenly he's nearly growing a beard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into some spoilers, I guess. I mean, if you clicked on this video and you were planning to watch this movie, I think you wouldn't have clicked, or at least you already saw it, I would guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we can put it in the time codes.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of things which I did not quite understand about this movie.
Okay.
First of all, there was this scene where the daughter... What's the name of the movie? Is it even mentioned at some point?
Oh, God.
I don't think
I'm
so, right?
sure it is. No, I'm sure it is. I just don't know.
Anyway. Well, when she's in the train, you know, going through there. First of all, why would you enter the train, not go around it? It would definitely make more noise to crawl in there.
Well, she wanted the first aid kit, didn't she?
Right. That's the other thing. Why did she need the first aid kit? She wasn't injured. It was never used after that.
I mean, it's just gathering supplies, right? For emergencies.
But she just saw the monster, so she's just taking a huge unnecessary risk.
Well, no,
I mean, it was there to create tension, I'm sure.
No, but didn't she see the monster after that?
No, she went through the cabin, then kind of jumped out.
Wait, I wasn't sure what that was. Was that the monster that jumped out? Because you didn't see it. Yeah?
I would assume so. What else?
Maybe just a stray animal. I don't know. These are the important things we're discussing right now. No, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I also thought to myself, it's kind of funny because there's so many like brand names that I just know now because of the pandemic, which is when she reaches for that first aid kit, it clearly says Johnson & Johnson on the top.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I didn't. I kind of looked away because I was awaiting the jump scare. Dude, the scene where I was the most tense was when they were in that little safe thing.
Right.
They were just shooting. There was always like this little opening.
Mm-hmm.
And when they talked, and when they're in the first time, the whole time I was just waiting for a jump scare there when there was just an alien gonna be right in that frame.
I gotta say, because you also mentioned jump scares earlier, and that you thought they did it quite well here, because jump scares are kind of a staple of shitty horror movies because they're easy to pull off. You just gotta change the picture and the sound very quickly.
Right.
And of course it's gonna scare you. But I liked it in this movie because they didn't do any unnecessary jump scares. Because when they do jump scares, it's actually because the monster showed up and it's supposed to scare you. But there's so many bad horror movies where it just starts off with somebody, I don't know, making piece of bread with marmalade and dropping a glass, and that's just made into a jump scare.
Sure.
Which is so unnecessary and just makes you unnecessarily tense and just hate the fucking movie.
No, but I think what's a necessary jump scare? I mean, you kind of have I felt like
I think the best horror movies are without jump scares.
I agree, and I feel like there were quite a few in this one too, and I don't think every single one was quote unquote necessary.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, at least they did it with like when the monster actually shows up, and it's not like, I don't know, they got scared of because something else,
right?
And then it's okay, nothing happened.
Like a fake out.
Let's move on. Yeah, like a fake out.
Right. No, I agree. But yeah, I mean, it was a good movie, and for me, the standout once again is the opening scene. I think just the decision to go back, which sounds very simple, but I didn't really think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love that scene. And then obviously the rest was kind of more of the same, like the first one. And characters are like making decisions that I didn't really understand completely. Like they always like go off on their own, every single person, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to create some tension and drama, I guess. But yeah.
But also because you said you like the crispness of the running time. I do agree, but I would have I would have preferred like 5 or 10 minutes more, just because when they finally arrive at the island, I would have kind of liked to see more of what happened there. And then because it's over so quickly, and when shit happens there, I didn't feel as emotional or whatever to see so many people die. I was like, okay, there's this side
right in the spoiler section now, by the way.
Yeah, I thought we were already there.
No, I know. I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
No, you did say it. You did say it. All good.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was kind of too bad. Also, there's a couple of characters you meet and you think they're going to be important, and they're just gone straight away. I thought it would have been more impactful if you had gotten to know them a bit more,
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I'm still I kind of want to see how they wrap the whole story up. And I told you when we watched it, I kind of forgot that there was already a third one in the making. I was hoping they're going to wrap up the story in this one. So the ending was a bit disappointing for me when they didn't do that. But obviously they're hinting at what comes next. And I mean, we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure, the thing is, I have faith in Krasinski, because he's writing the new one too.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm excited to see what he has in store for us. And I'm also very excited to see what he does next, because he's kind of like, he's kind of already like solidified himself as a really good director, in my opinion, at least. And I've only seen like 2 of his movies now, but yeah, he's got a good creative mind, kind of like Jordan Peele, right? Of the last couple of years, sort of like making these small budget movies that are actually like ginormous in revenue. Because I think the second one is actually like it's going really well in the States, like obviously in Corona times.
Sure. I mean, you gotta say the movie just looks good, because it's so easy to make just a movie with a good idea but just make it look boring. But they're pretty cool, like ways they shot a lot of scenes and to make them more tense. And I think you did a great job. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Lots of hands and feet.
Maybe it's a fetish.
Yeah, the Tarantino.
Right. Feet. Yeah. I mean, if you had to guess what the plot of the third one is, what would you say? Just off the top of your mind.
Yeah, because it feels really big spoilers now. Yeah, but it's like it feels very like straightforward. No, I mean, right now everything is the way it's supposed to be, and they're sending out the signal all over the place, and now it's just about to go out and actually kill them. Which I'm sure shit is going to hit the fan, and not everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to. But I can't really think of. I don't know.
I think for the next one, they're going to do something, the thing that I expected for this one, which is to make humans more of the villains. I think it's going to start off maybe a bit later with them maybe having fortified the island a little bit. And then, because in this movie, they already kind of mentioned, Cillian Murphy's character kind of mentioned, not all people are good. And they kind of showed that in this movie for a very short scene. But he kind of put so much emphasis on that I thought it's going to be a bigger point in the plot. So I think it's the only thing that they can do now, because now they have really the ultimate weapon. They can't do the same thing with the aliens again, right?
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, maybe
I would hope at least.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But see, I mean, we're already like theorizing what could happen. That's sort of like, you know, it seems like you are kind of interested too what's going to happen.
Maybe. I mean, if it's gonna have Cillian Murphy again, let's be honest, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love the dude too. But I still have to catch up on some of his movies. I watched something recently that I absolutely loved with him. That I kind of want to keep with. Yeah, I kind of want to. You know, that's for like a hidden gem special we're gonna do or something like
something new or something older.
No, older. But I love that movie completely.
I mean, there's so many things of his that I still haven't seen, but I mentioned this before, and The Wind That Shakes Up Ollie, great fucking movie by Ken Loach.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that movie from like the moment I met you.
I can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Ignited my love in Ireland.
There you go. So if you're listening, Cillian, we'd love to have you on the show.
Sadly, he does very few interviews, which I think is like the only reason he wouldn't agree to this.
Yeah, that's probably true. Right. So what else will we talk about? Do you want to play Last Man Standing? What was it? Did you mention that last night when we had a beer?
Sure. I mean, it's kind of short notice.
No, I don't want you to prepare. I don't want you to have written down everything, because we're like 37 minutes in. Like we can do like one round of Last Man Standing and then wrap up the show and prepare for the special next week, which we're both slammed in uni work.
Yeah.
So, and I even think not a lot of people will listen to the show, because once the show drops, that's like the main university exam week.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this, please give the special a go, even a week later, because I'm excited for it. We're going to talk about a person that we've been meaning to for a while, basically since it's always been on the back of our minds, right? Since we started doing this.
And a person that we've seen pretty much everything of, which is good, because that's kind of also why we chose that person, because otherwise we wouldn't have time to watch enough.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. It's going to be out next week, obviously, next Monday at 7 a.m. But let's wrap up this show. I mean, A Quiet Place Part 2. If you like the first one, definitely see the second one, right? I think we can say that. And if you haven't seen the first one, I wouldn't go in the second. I wouldn't go see the second one. I feel like you have to see the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's an above average, and that sounds worse than I intended it to. It's just, I think it's a good horror thriller. I think it is a horror movie. It's
sure. Action horror, I guess.
Yeah, action horror.
If that's a genre.
Yeah, with really, really great performances and some great directorial choices too. So it was a good movie to see on the big screen as well, with the great sound design as well.
A good comeback.
Yeah, it was very quiet. I mean, there's only 5 people in the screening room, but it was thankfully still very quiet, because you're like tense the whole way through. I remember when we watched the first one, it was a jam-packed theater, and it was just as quiet as it can be, which was great. You couldn't even eat like a popcorn or whatever.
I mean, I think there were a couple of reviews out there, just Quiet Place, bringing quietness back to the cinema.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a testament to the movie.
Yeah, sure.
You can't...
Because I think if you talk during this movie, somebody's going to get up and hit you in the face.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You, as I said, you can't even like take a sip of your drink or whatever. You just don't want to disturb anyone or yourself.
There were a couple of times that I wanted to kind of move my feet because my feet were falling asleep, but my shoes were squeeching like ever so slightly.
Yeah. What, today?
Sorry?
Today or
today?
The first one? Oh, I don't think anyone would have minded.
Apparently nobody noticed.
Yeah. But let's do a do you know who we could do it around? Because Last Man Standing is a game that I was introduced to a while ago, and it's basically like we're gonna think of one actor or director, and then we're gonna take turns in naming one movie where that person has been in, and basically like until someone doesn't have a pick anymore or can't think of anything anymore, and then that person lost. And you have 2 lives, so you always have like a little bit of time. But I think we'll do a speed round, right? Who do we have? Like a big actor that everyone knows and loves? I don't know.
Christ, Tom Cruise is the first one that comes to mind. But you're gonna
you're
gonna annihilate Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's But famous last words. If you think of someone else, we can think of someone else. I don't know.
No, sure. Let's go Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise?
And of course, feel free to play along in your mind.
Yeah, and we do the franchise thing, right? So Mission Impossible, the first. If I say Mission Impossible, that's like off the table, and that's what I'm going to do. Mission Impossible.
All right, Top Gun.
I'm stumped. No, let's do. Let's do Valkyrie.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Interview with the Vampire.
Oblivion.
Are you just rattling these off?
I got IMDb open.
Cocktail.
No, I don't. Rain Man.
Great pick. Oh God. See? The pressure. It's the pressure. What else do we have? We have oh God. Hold on a second.
I mean, it was like the time limit on this.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I'll be fair. I'll be fair.
Open a clock.
Yeah.
Let's say like 10 seconds.
Oh gosh, dude, what's happening with me right now? Top Gun 2? No, that's not gonna count. The Mummy.
Right. Jerry Maguire.
Of course. Shit.
Let's say 30 seconds.
Sure. But let's do 2 lives, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Jerry Maguire. Okay. What's like a good Tom Cruise movie that I watched? I watched so many Tom Cruise movies. Oh, The Color of Money.
Right. Tropic Thunder.
Jesus Christ. The Color of Money. Tropic Thunder. Les Grossman or whatever his name is. What else do we have? The Last Samurai.
Right. Ice White Shot.
Dude.
The first time I'm good at this game. I need the pressure.
What kind of romance? Did he some big romance movies too? A Few Good Men. One of my favorites.
Of course. Still haven't seen that one. See, now I'm stumped. Now I'm out of movies. I'm trying not to look at my Blu-rays. Sheet.
Riveting.
Yeah. Fuck, that's kind of hard. I had so many just in the back of my mind, but now I'm out. I'm just always trying to think of different genres that he might have been in. But I can't think of anything, and I think that's my first life gone. Yeah, your turn.
God, I see. I'm stumped now too. And there's so many more movies.
Yeah.
It's going to be so embarrassing. What else do we have? Tom Cruise, the legend himself.
I thought of something.
You got something?
Okay. Yeah.
What has he done recently? He's only done. Did he Mission Impossible, The Mummy? What's the 10
seconds?
War of the Worlds.
Yeah. I got something. Austin Powers Gold Member.
Ridiculous.
Isn't
like in the Gold Member?
Yeah, he's like in there for 5 seconds playing Austin Powers in the movie.
I know. It's a great opening. What else do we have? I said Cocktail already.
Mm-hmm.
You said Top Gun already. Edge of Tomorrow. There's so many other. Good one. Jack Reacher. 1 and 2.
Right. Fuck me. That's a good one. Haven't seen it either. A young Tom Cruise. What has he been in it? Collateral. He's not a young.
Oh, it's a great shout. Yeah, that's a great shout. He worked with so many great directors. I'm just trying to go through the directors.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. What else was he in? Tom Cruise. Did he do any other action franchises?
No idea. I mean, he's been in quite a few franchises, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 2. Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher.
Yeah. The failed monster universe with the Mummy.
Right.
I'm stumped. I think it's over, right? What do you got?
Fuck, okay. If I mess this up, I think I'm out. So...
Please mess it up, because I can't think of anything.
Fuck me. Come on.
You said Rain Man, right?
I said Rain Man, yeah.
Oh, I got something. Yes!
Oh, Christ. Come on, I need to think of the same thing, otherwise I'm fucked.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
And I think I am. Of course, it's Tom Cruise. You're gonna win. Yeah.
No, but
I
dude, it
think
was super close. I thought of Risky Business now,
Risky Business, of course.
which is great. It's a great movie. That's early Tom Cruise.
All right. Before we end this episode, let me just Google and regret
Dude, there's gonna
movies
be
that I missed.
Yeah. There's gonna be so many movies that we
The
missed.
big ones.
I'm doing the same thing right now.
I mean,
Let's
we've got
Let's go
most
through them
of the big
together, right?
ones.
IMDb. Let's do them like
American Made. One of
American
his
Made. Yeah,
New movies.
Yeah, of course.
A good one actually.
Rock of Ages.
Oblivion.
Night
Okay,
and
yeah.
Day with
Didn't see that.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh, okay.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
Magnolia. Vanilla Sky.
Magnolia.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah. Crazy.
The
Some
Firm?
big ones.
See, The Firm was at the back of my mind, and I almost said it, but then I forgot about it again. Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Born on the 4th
On
of
the
July.
4th of July. Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, man.
Big one.
See, it's always embarrassing to do these things. But other than that, we got them. the big ones, right?
Yeah. I think we went pretty far and
Yeah.
pretty fast at the start.
But Minority Report and Magnolia, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Magnolia, also missing that one.
That's you're missing Magnolia. Paul
I
Thomas
know, I
Anderson,
know.
that's a great
Yeah, yeah.
movie.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I
Lion
got it on
and
my
Lambs.
Amazon Prime watch list, but you gotta rent it, and I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. Well, that was,
Right.
I think, we kind of
was
embarrassed
fun.
ourselves and also did somehow okay, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was good. So
Right.
that's the newest reoccurring segment of the show. If we have to
Complete
fill
at
time.
at the end of the next special. If
Yeah,
we
oh
remember
God.
all the picks.
Right. But that's it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, hopefully, once again, we're all over the place and I apologize for that. But we just saw A Quiet Place like literally like an hour before we started recording.
Mhm.
And, just tried to somehow make sense of everything in a short amount of time. But good movie. And next special is going to be interesting next week. I'm looking forward to that.
So excited, yeah.
And as always, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
Right, yeah. Also, thank you so much from me. It's always great to have somebody listening to us. I don't know if everybody's got time right now. It's a busy time of the year. But if you're here, if you're listening to this, thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Maybe let us know if you enjoyed our little round of Last Man Standing, or if it was a bit boring listening to us think and curse.
Dead air.
But yeah, as always, you can check us out on any podcast platforms, be it Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. Also, please check us out at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. And also, of course, check out our thumbnail that Flo makes every week, which is mainly going to be focused on A Quiet Place 2, I would guess.
Yeah.
You can see that on Twitter, Instagram, and of course as our thumbnail on YouTube. Consider dropping a like, subscribe, leaving a review, whatever. Maybe tell us if you've also had time to check out A Quiet Place 2, if you saw it in the cinemas. Would love to know what you thought. And yeah, it's been a pleasure as always. Have a great day. Bye bye.
I don't want to just throw in my bye at the end of your great.
sorry.
No. No. No.
I can.
It just feels wrong if I just interject a little bye at the end, But that's what I have to do.
Bye.
Bye bye.